I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not hear me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Start it from scratch. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go. 'Cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not. Because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through. I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go. 'Cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not. Because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. What do you think that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not hear me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Start it from scratch. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go. 'Cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get ready to cap off our race weekend here from upstate New York at Watkins Glen International. Gearing up here for our 23rd race of the 8th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. 4 races, including today, remain until we put together the 16 drivers that will battle for this season's championship. 10 drivers will get in through points, 6 drivers will get in through wildcard spots. Right now, those 6 wildcard spots are comprised of former race winners on the season. But we could have 4 different drivers go to victory lane in the next 4 weeks, including here today, a track that usually, as most road courses are, is usually about good starting track position, and quite a number of drivers that are still looking for that first win of the season. They are starting up here towards the front of the field. One driver that is looking for the first win of his career gets his second pole on the season, and that is Anthony McCrory. We saw yesterday a Mazda out of Garage 55 take the Light Series race. Anthony's Mazda lines up on the inside of the front row for this one. Anthony, obviously a very accomplished road course racer, but he is still looking for that first career victory here on the Cup Series side. He's joined alongside by Jessica Shelton, who comes into this race currently 38th, make that 37th in the point standings. Jess, of course, the defending champion of the series, and many will remember that great run she had down the home stretch, the second half of the regular season, to eventually get herself into the playoffs, and then closed it out with the victory and the championship at Michigan. This season, though, things are looking rather bleak for Jess to be able to defend that title. However, for both Anthony McCrory and Jessica Shelton, statistically, they are not out of the hunt yet. 2 things for both of those cars. Number 1, they're coming off good runs last week at Homestead, Miami, so they have both moved up in the point standings. Jess moved from 40th to 37th. Anthony moved from 38th to 34th. So they are closer, respective to where they were starting last week's race at Homestead, to that 30th in standings cut line. And number 2, the good starting track position here today. Now, if I'm able to look at this realistically, I would say that both Jessica Shelton and Anthony McCrory, they need to win 2 of the next 4 races. In order to have a shot at winning that second race, you got to win that first race. And with starting well here today on the front row, they may be able to take that crucial step. It's still a possibility. The probability is not there, but the possibility is still there that with 2 victories here in these last 4 weeks, Anthony McCrory or Jessica Shelton could find themselves into a last-minute wild card spot and still have a shot at battling for the championship this season. Carson Gumb's going to line up on the inside of row number 2. Now, Carson Gum, while we talked about Jessica Shelton and Anthony McCrory, how they've really been doing well the last couple of weeks, well, for Carson Gum, that's not been the case. About a month ago, we were talking about Carson Gum battling for the regular season championship. He had the mechanical failure at Kentucky. Had a problem last week at Homestead as well. He has dropped to 5th in the standings, 58 points out of the points lead, which means that Carson wouldn't even be able to battle for the points lead this week. He'd have to maybe rely on a good run this week, a good run next week at Hanford to be back at the top of the overall standings. So basically, I think today for Carson Gum, he's got 3 victories. So we know even if he drops out of the top 10 in points, he's going to be in a wild card spot. Carson's going playoff racing. He's going to battle for the championship this season, but I think right now he's just trying to get a foothold in and stop skidding down this icy slope. Maybe a top 5 run here today would be able to solidify that for him. And of course, as well, if he's in the conversation for this win, you know he'll go for it. Would love to tie Destin Bolin for most wins on the season at 4 apiece. And then Matt McIntyre. Matt McIntyre is another driver, kind of like Carson Gum, who he was a driver that we were talking up inside the latter half of the top 10 for most of the regular season, especially up to the All-Star break. After we got done with the All-Star break, it seemed like all of a sudden Matt McIntyre hit a skid and was getting these finishes that would drop him multiple spots in the standings. He comes into this race 21st in points. He did find a decent run last week at Homestead, so maybe he has stopped the bleeding, and now with good starting track position here today, he can continue to climb back up through the points. Of course, he's another driver that's looking for that first trip to victory lane, and right now, based on where some of those drivers that would be currently in the 5th and 6th wildcard spots are at, positioned in points, Matt McIntyre with a win would put himself in the wildcard conversation going into another track that he had a lot of success at last season, despite the fact he didn't get the finish indicative of how good a car he had at Hanford Speedway. Well, let's see how it all plays out. A couple of things we have to touch on here. Number one, we talked about this yesterday in the Light Series race. We know what the fuel window is going to be for these drivers here this afternoon. There has been a physics change. Now, the first 22 races of the season, they ran with PTA physics, so it was different in terms of the racing style, the racing fuel consumption, all of that. We have now moved a physics change over with the Cup drivers, and this will be the same going forward through the remainder of the season to CTS physics, the same physics that we run over on the light side. So now we will have a general idea whenever we have these doubleheader races, which we've got, including this race weekend, 3 more, Watkins, Glen, Hanford, and Auto Club here in this regular season. We have double headers with Lights and Cup at the same venue on the same weekend. We will have a more general idea of what the fuel window is going to be here on the Cup side. We know 15 to 16 laps could be the fuel window for these drivers here this afternoon, but add an extra 9 laps onto the scheduled distance for the Cup drivers as opposed to the Lights drivers yesterday. So guaranteed 2 times these drivers will have to be on pit road, at least under green flag conditions if we go green to the end, to be able to make it the entire distance on fuel. All right. We're going to get to some more scenarios and stuff here in just a moment, but now we're going to go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports, and get ready to go racing here at the Glen.
Drivers, start your engines.
Right side of your screen, you'll see your 42 car starting lineup. Kind of weird how they grid up here at the Glen. You have the first half of the cars on pit road, and then the second half of the cars on the racetrack, but they will all mesh together when they enter into the S's. 4 former winners at the Glen in the field this afternoon. We'll document them in due course. Let's give you a look at what your playoff standings would look like now had regular season come to a close last week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Ryan Brommer is now the new points leader, as he currently holds 25 points over the former points leader, Levi McIntyre. First time Ryan Brommer has been at the top of the point standings the entire season. James Qualls is the only other driver that theoretically could leave Watkins Glen with the points lead today. He's third in points, 27 points out. Alexander Rowe sits fourth, 53 points back, and we mentioned Carson Gum. Good starting track position here today, fifth in points, 58 points out of the top position. Last week, we saw our second rookie go to victory lane. Summer Henson got her first career win at Homestead. Moved up 3 spots in the standings as well to 6th. Destin Bolin, 4-time winner, is 7th. Jack Mitchell back up in the top 10 as he gained 3 spots from 11th now to 8th. Nick Gunther currently sits in 9th. And Eric Sadler is on the hot seat. He is in the final position that would get you into the playoff on points in 10th position. Wildcard spots right now. First and second wildcard spots held by multi-time winners Matt Haas, who's 23rd in overall points, Connor Breton, who is 25th. And then one-time winners hold the 3rd through 6th wildcard positions. Reggie Fogelman, 16th in points. RJ Bishop, 17th. Nathan Ormond, 27th. And Daniel Voiles, 28th. We'll continue to keep an eye on the 23 and the 26 as they try to keep themselves in the top 30 in the standings to keep those wild card hopes alive. We have run Watkins Glen ever since the inception of the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series, going all the way back to Season 1. 4 former winners in this field: Nathan Ormond, Keith Batson, Jesse Turner, and Laura Chung. Chung got her very first career victory here back in Season 6. A couple of other former winners that are not in the field here this afternoon. A couple of drivers out of Louisville Automotive: Jose Mills, former champion Jordan Lopez, as well as Diego Yepes, who went to victory lane here back when he was driving for Auto Junction Racing. 41 laps of racing this afternoon here from Watkins Glen. They'll head down into that marked restart zone, and Anthony McCurry gets us underway as we head for the heavy braking zone right-hand turn 1. Whoa, a little wide there up over the rumble strip for Matt McIntyre. Got a little squirrely as Anthony goes to the point. Shelton into second, Carson Gum third. Single file back amongst the top 6 or 7. Before you get back to, looked like that was Jesse Turner, Cody Lamas. No, that's Eric Monaco rather back there, along with Dylan Young and Nathan Ormond. Into the bus stop for the first time. McCrory, little wide up into the grass, but holds on to the top spot, tries to gap Shelton. Autumn Brooks now putting the pressure on Carson Gum for third. Cody Lamas looking on. Caution out already. Caution out for the first time on lap 1. We went 32 laps yesterday in the Light Series race, caution free. Didn't even complete a lap here before the yellow flag waves in this one, and based on the timing of where I saw that yellow, I'm going to guess maybe the bus stop had something to do with this, as Anthony's going to bring us down here to the start-finish line, receive the caution. And we'll now try and see if we can find out what exactly happened here. A couple of cars way back here, Benjamin Snyder and James Qualls, very slow. Also thought I saw some damage on the 0-2 of Destin Bolin. So we might have had a couple of drivers collected up in this one. I just saw some skid marks there off of turn 1. They are going to service the 70. I don't think the incident happened off of turn 1, but I might have missed it. Maybe it wasn't the bus stop, or maybe we had it in 2 different locations. Let's see if we can find out. I don't think we'll have anybody come to pit road here, because I think we'd have to get to around 10 laps, 11 laps into this to be able to make it on one more stop. I don't see the benefit of coming to pit road right now. Okay, this actually was not the bus stop. This was turn 1. This was way further back, and it starts with the 38 of Benjamin Snyder, who's going to get up on that rumble strip, gets loose, comes down into Nick Gunther, collects Quentin Moore. There's where Destin Bolin gets involved, and then a shot there into the left front of James Qualls. So those skid marks I saw there on the exit of turn 1 were actually the reason this caution came out. I thought maybe because I didn't see the caution lights initially until after the leaders had made their way through the bus stop that might have been the trouble spot, but obviously that was not the case. So at least for the full field, they didn't make it a complete 2 corners before the first incident. And as you see right there, as the 38 skews out, gets loose, going up over that rumble strip into that runoff area, it just snaps back down, and nowhere for Quentin Moore, Destin Bolin, or James Qualls to be able to go. As I mentioned, though, they did start servicing the 27, so he might be able to continue. Just depends on just how hard an impact that actually was. So normal road course cautions means pit road will be open this time. Looks like we got one taker up inside of the top 10, Bryce Egan in the 9. So interesting strategy call there for the rookie out of Haas Racing. Most everybody, though, is going to stay out, it looks like. There's another driver coming down. Is that Nathan Ormond in the 23? I believe it is. So the only thing that I could think of for those 2 drivers, they're giving up a ton of track position. The only strategy call I could think that they're looking at, as RJ Bishop is also in with them, is they're expecting one of two things. Either one, if we end up having another caution come out about 5-6 laps from now, everybody else is going to have come down pit road, and they can maybe stay out and gain some track position. Or two, if we end up having this thing go into a long green flag run, they don't have to come to pit road until 2-3 laps later than everybody else. And that could cycle them at least to the front of the field for a portion of time, maybe catch a lucky yellow at the right time, and maybe, just maybe, that would give them an opportunity to gain the track position back. So some unorthodox strategy here with this early yellow playing out. We should get the lights out on the pace car when they exit out of the S's here. Usually pit road open one time, lights go out, and we go back green the next lap, so plenty of opportunity for green flag racing here. Should be right about here that we'll have those caution lights go out. There it is. Single file restart. McCrory, Shelton, Gum, Brooks, and Lamas going to be your top 5. And we'll wait for scoring to update here before we officially tell you what the top 10 is. Looks like it's going to be Matt McIntyre, Eric Monaco, Dylan Young, Jesse Turner, and Joshua Osborne. The reason why I say for scoring to update is there's a car slow back there. 24 of Casey Hoyt was a little offline. Not sure what was going on there. And we're also being told the 48 of Austin LaPlante is out of the race. I did not see him involved in anything, so we will... Oh, we're also being told Summer Henson, last week's winner's on pit road for an extended stay. So something happened with those two cars, unbeknownst to us. If we can, we'll try and see if we can get you an NNSCRA split cam footage of what happened between those two. Henson has continued, but Austin LaPlante is done for the day. I've just been told 9-10 laps. That's the target of when these drivers would even consider coming to pit road more than likely. And now we got more drivers that are going to come to pit road here, coming to the green. Carson Gum, Autumn Brooks, Cody Lamas, Jesse Turner. So we've got some strategy games going on right now. Keith Batson I saw back there, Eric Sadler, Alexander Rowe, Connor Breton. Green flag back in the air. Here we go. I think Casey Hoyt may have had a mechanical failure and came to a stop on the racetrack. I just saw him on pit road. Dylan Young really wide there out of turn 1. As McCrory opens up about 2 car lengths back to Jessica Shelton. Another car length back to Matt McIntyre, who's got his hands full now with the rookie Eric Monaco. Joshua Osborne right there in the 5th position. Single file amongst the top 10 or so. Mitchell just makes his way around Benjamin Miles. Now Daniel Voiles looks to take advantage as well through the carousel. Further up, Charles Sanford. This is for 5th on Joshua Osborne. Former champion, the GoBowling.com Chevrolet. Charles coming into this race 19th in points, gained 6 spots in the standings last week after Homestead, so don't count him out. We've yet to have a driver right now that looks like they are going to be eligible for a playoff spot out of S3 Motorsports, where the championship has resided for the last 3 seasons. Sanford might have something to say about it. As now Matt McIntyre will make his way around Jessica Shelton entering into the S's, move him into the runner-up spot. Throw a blanket over 2nd through 5th as Anthony McCrory continues to run away with this thing. Carson Gum, Cody Lama, some of those drivers we saw come to pit road, they are all about some 20 seconds behind the race leader. But again, remember, they're off sequence. When all these drivers have to come to pit road, potentially under green flag pit stops, all those drivers would then cycle up to the front. Eric Monaco. I was going to say Eric Sadler, but Eric Monaco tried to make a move there on Matt McIntyre for second, and he may pay for that as Shelton now gets to driver's right. Tucks back in line, couldn't make the move. Gets right in front of Joshua Osborne. Stacks him up there, though, as now Sanford will look to the bottom on the 27. Dylan Young behind him, looking low on Cole Deaver, and will complete that pass. Matter of fact, Deaver very slow out of that corner, loses a couple of spots. Mitchell will slide by as well. Jack Mitchell moving his way back up into the top 10 after last week. Was on the outside, 11th going into that Homestead race. Moved back in to now sit 8th, our winner from Phoenix. And look at this back here. Taco Bell, Pizza Hut going at it through the bus stop. Michael Norman will swing around Reggie Fogelman. Kyle Matthews a little slow there on the exit. Going to lose a spot maybe to Zachary Fitzwater. Well, Daniel Voiles, Nathan Norman, we mentioned both of them. 27th, 28th in points coming into this one. Both just barely ahead of the cut line. 22 points to the good was Ormond, and 14 points to the good was Voiles. Well, Ormond is on that alternative strategy. We saw him pit with Bryce Egan under the caution. Daniel Voiles right now holding down the 12th position. Ormond and Egan last time by were scored in 24th and 25th as an update on those two. Eric Monaco has gotten around Shelton. Shelton wants the spot back, and she'll move back to third place. Looks like a lot of the passing here is taking place specifically through the carousel and on the exit of turn 1. I think a lot of that comes down to who's being able to get the better exit on those two particular corners, out of turn 1 and the exit here of the bus stop. Anthony setting some really good lap times right now, though, as he has been able to open up scoring said last time by a second and 4/10 to this ongoing battle for the runner-up spot. Matt McIntyre, Jessica Shelton, Eric Monaco, add Charles Sanford now into the conversation, all going at it, and allowing Anthony to just kind of focus on hitting his mark, setting some borderline qualifying laps, and run away with this thing. Little slide there out of Jessica Shelton. That's going to allow Matt McIntyre to maybe open up some distance as he'll be firmly in control of second place now. Look at that defensive line he runs there into turn 1. Runs low, make sure for no dive bomb. That's going to hurt his exit, one would assume. As Anthony continues to show the way. Casey Hoyt, I believe, is back on pit road again. Multiple pit stops for the 24 car after having some kind of a mechanical problem before we went green. As they were making their way down this camera shot down the back straightaway towards the chicane, I saw Casey Hoyt offline and letting drivers past. When we came around to the start-finish line, Hoyt had to teleport to pit road. So some kind of mechanical problem plaguing that machine. He's back on pit lane for them to continue to work on that car. Tough day so far for Northeast Motorsports as Austin LaPlante is already out of this race. Connor Breton is at the tail end of the field right now in 39th, though granted he's one of those drivers on the alternative fuel strategy as he came to pit road when we went back green. And let's see, where is the other driver out of Northeast Motorsports running right now? Benjamin Miles. He's right now up inside of the top 10, currently in the 9th position. So good run currently for him, but the only one of the Northeast Motorsports Chevrolets that's even having a ghost of a good run so far. That's now a move made on him by Jack Mitchell. That, I believe, is for 8th position. I mentioned about the fact that 4 former winners here at Watkins Glen are in the field. Right now, the highest running of those, I believe, would be Laura Chung, who got her first career victory at this venue. Right now, she's in the 18th position. Nathan Ormond is in 22nd. Got to go all the way back to 34th to find Jesse Turner. And Keith Batson is currently in 38th. So right now, the odds would definitely look like in favor of an 8th different driver getting a win here at Watkins Glen, as we've had 7 different winners in the past 7 seasons. Keep an eye on our ticker there, top left. Lap 9 about to be completed. So here's the thing. For most of these drivers, they could go 15 to 16 laps before absolutely having to come to pit road. They would still have to pit one more time. The window is actually now open where you could pit now and only have to make one more pit stop. So the question is, which side of the fuel spectrum do the drivers elect to choose? Do they do it right when the window is open now, or do they stretch it as far as they can possibly go and then run a shorter stint at the end of the race? The thing is, as I'm kind of like trying to mull over where we saw a few drivers come to pit road when it was open under that caution, a number of drivers come to pit road when we went back green, I don't see them being able to make it the rest of the way on one pit stop at this point in time. They're all still going to have to come down pit road. So the only thing I can think of is they are relying on all these drivers in front of them coming to pit road. They stay out. Caution comes out, and they're able to maintain that track position. It's the only scenario I can really see right now. Unless they feel that fresh tires, maybe, on a long run is going to help them out. I don't know. I mean, let's look at the scenario here. Let's drop back to the 19 of Carson Gum, because I believe he is the highest running driver of those that came to pit road. I think Kyler Sustre may have almost gotten the Armco barrier there off of turn 7. Okay, so it's actually Cody Lamas. There's Cody, 32nd place right now. But look up ahead of him. These are drivers that stayed out under the yellow. James Qualls, Kyler Sustre, Dustin Bolin. They're actually about, the group of 4 at least, are about to catch drivers and pick up positions. Bryce Egan. Where's RJ Bishop? There's RJ, there's Nathan Orman. They've already made their way around some drivers. They bypassed, at least Bishop and Orman have bypassed Quentin Moore, Levi McIntyre, Nick Gunther. So that's the only other thing I could think of, is maybe taking advantage on fresh tires here on the long run. But it's odd. It's really odd. Anthony McCurry has enjoyed this clean racetrack. He's about to lead his 11th lap of the day, looking for that first career victory. Many will forget that Anthony, back in Season 5, when we had the 3 drivers per car rule, Anthony was the only driver out of Garage 55's entry, well, actually back then it was Gunther Motorsports, to not go to victory lane. Nick Gunther found victory lane. Mike Tellier won the then season finale at Homestead Miami Speedway. But Anthony was the only driver out of that team that did not pick up a checkered flag. He is still searching. It's been a long winless streak for Matt McIntyre as well. I think his last victory was back in Season 2, Season 3, if I'm not mistaken. Mentioned about next week. Really excited to go back to Hanford. Hanford was good and bad last year in the fact that, you know, in the case of using Matt McIntyre as an example, Matt had the dominant car. He had the car to win. Should have won that race. But made contact with the outside wall that gave him right side damage that slowed his pace. He then had to come to pit road, spent extra time on pit lane repairing that car. He finished, I believe, still in the top 10. I think he finished in 9th, but he should have won that race. Levi McIntyre would eventually go on to pick up that victory. Well, there have been some tweaks, some edits made as contact there. Joshua Osborne into the back of Shelton, trying to move her out of the way for the runner-up spot. And I think he's going to get the position here, but aggressively gets the position, does Osborne. But some tweaks and edits have been made to the track, and race officials happy enough with it that we're actually not only going to have the Cup drivers there next week, but the Lights drivers as well. Will be the first of 2 more doubleheaders here down the home stretch of this regular season. As, of course, we will have Lights and Cup drivers at the regular season finale at Auto Club. Only time remainder of this regular season that the Cup drivers will stand alone will be in 2 weeks' time when we are at the world's dirtiest half mile, Bristol Motor Speedway Dirt. Let's see now if Osborne, now the new second place driver, has anything for Anthony McCrory. As Anthony's coming to pit road. All right, so here you go. This is actually right in the middle of the window for Anthony. I believe Matt McIntyre is coming in as well, Charles Sanford. So we're going to have a lot of split decisions here. We can still go another 2 laps maximum for some of these drivers, depending on what they were able to save on this run. But the leader elects to come to pit road here and now. I mean, this kind of does make sense if you're Anthony McCrory, because you're now splitting the race into thirds. Pit at the completion of lap 14, pit the completion of lap 28. That gives you 13 laps to the conclusion. So you're literally splitting this race in thirds, as are all the other drivers that came down pit road with him. So first lap led by a driver other than Anthony McCrory, Osborne, getting a valuable bonus point there. And we'll see if he, Shelton, Eric Monaco, Michael Norman will stay out an extra lap here, or if we'll see some of these front runners come to pit road this next time by. Monaco looking for a move there on Shelton, so I don't think he's pitting if he's going to go that aggressively for the runner-up spot. Oh, maybe he is pitting. Osborne's going to come in. Shelton. It's like Monaco and Norman. Are anybody going to stay out in extra lap? Stretch it a little bit further. Watching the top of the screen, I don't see anybody swinging wide there off of turn 7. I think most everybody's coming to pit road here on this lap. Completion of 14 on to 15. Expect to see a lot of those drivers that pitted coming to the green to stay out. Yep, there you go. RJ Bishop stays out. Nick Gunther stays out. I don't remember if Nick came to pit road at all under that caution period or not. But he's going to go an extra lap. There's Cody Lamas, Kyler Sustre, Carson Gum. We know that these are drivers that pitted at the one or at coming to the green. James Qualls, Jesse Turner, Summer Henson, along with Eric Sadler, Autumn Brooks. And there's Osborne coming off pit road. Where is Anthony? There's the 61. Is Anthony going to be able to get Osborne before they get to the entrance of the S's? Yes, he will. So that would cycle Anthony back to the lead when the rest of these other drivers come to pit road. I believe Benjamin Snyder we're still waiting on. Same for Breton. Same for Batson. So RJ Bishop will more than likely get himself a lap led here if he stays out a little bit longer. And now the question will be, when does he come to pit road? Cody's coming in this time. Sustre as well. RJ will get himself a bonus point as he will officially lead that lap. Gunther following behind him in second. These drivers should be able to go maybe another 2 more laps before they're going to have to pit. Carson Gum right now in third. These drivers right now I think are relying on maybe a yellow to save them. I mean, the only other scenario I could see possibly working out in their favor is being able to go a lap or 2 further. We saw Anthony come to pit road at the completion of lap 14, right? So theoretically, one would think that he would then go another 14 laps and be able to make another 14 laps, which would get him to lap 42, which is past regulation. However, let's also bear in mind, and we've seen this happen before at road courses in the past, when the field gets spread out and they don't have the benefit of draft of drivers, a lot of drivers around them, that can sometimes shrink the fuel window. So let's say in the case of Anthony McCrory, let's say he went 14 laps here. Let's say he can only go 12 laps on this next run. Does that mean he would be a lap or 2 short of making it on fuel? And would that then play into the hands of all these drivers who went with the unorthodox strategy of pitting coming to the green flag, having that extra lap to be able to go just a little further on a green flag run. I don't know. I'm not a crew chief. I don't know what the strategy call was there, but a lot of drivers did it, so I have to assume that there's something there that the crew chief saw and maybe tried to play a gamble on. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. A couple of drivers still staying out here. James Qualls, who we mentioned, is third in points, trying to maybe wrestle the points lead away from Levi McIntyre and Ryan Brommer. 27 points out of that points lead, James Qualls, and he'd love to get himself a bonus point for a lap led here. Autumn Brooks also staying out an extra lap, our lights winner here from yesterday. That victory very well might have put Autumn Brooks into the playoffs on the light side. Anthony has caught traffic. He got around Connor Breeden. He's now trying to get by Keith Batson, as well as the 24 of Casey Hoyt, who is multiple laps down after a mechanical issue in the early going. Anthony trying to open up distance back to, I believe, Michael Norman would be the new second place driver as things currently look. As Qualls is in, Autumn Brooks is in. Oh, Qualls isn't even going to get the lap lead. I think Brooks is going to lead it there as she crossed the line on pit road. Yeah, bonus point there. Well, not a bonus point, but a lap lead for the rookie out of Garage 55. And now her teammate McCrory will go back to the point. The reason I say that it's not a bonus point for Autumn is she's not running for Cup Series points this season. She's running for Light Series for the championship there. So that will now give the lead back to McCrory, and that gap he had before the pit stops is gone. Having to deal with traffic, Matt McIntyre is right there with him, 2 car lengths back. Michael Norman now in the third spot, as now they're all wadded up behind the 24 Raising Cane Chevrolet of Casey Hoyt. Sanford, Joshua Osborne, Benjamin Miles going to make his way by. He'll pick up the 5th position now. Shelton. Matt Haas is up here in the conversation now, along with Caleb Fogler, Eric Monaco, and Jack Mitchell. Keep an eye on Matt Haas. I believe it was last season Matt Haas picked up a win at Chatham, so he's very good at the road courses. We're 3 wide going into 6. Ooh, boy. Caleb Fogler, Jessica Shelton, Matt Haas, a part of that 3 wide formation. Looks like Haas is the one that backed out. Fogler might have backed out as well. Michael is just now going to get to the inside and bypass Casey Hoyt. Sanford does the same. Osborne, Miles all lining up there on the inside of turn 1 to try and get by the slower 24 car, who's currently holding up Jessica Shelton, along with Matt Haas and Jack Mitchell. Lead change. Just saw the completion of it there. Matt McIntyre to the point. He actually led the lap on Anthony McCrory. So first lap lead of the day for Matt McIntyre. And now he is out in front. One thing we have to consider here too, obviously, with that pit stop opportunity to make adjustments on the race car. And we'll see who made the right adjustments. Obviously, they made a good adjustment there, at least for the short run speed of this 21 machine, as he's able to get by Anthony. Now the question is, what's the long run speed look like? Is he going to be able to run away from the 61, or will McCrory keep him in check and maybe battle him back for the top position? Anthony looked really loose right there, coming off of turn 7. Back into the car, sliding out from underneath him. And now Michael Norman Motorsports finds themselves 1-3 with Anthony McCrory in between them. Michael Norman right now in that third spot. Joshua Osborne looking low for 4th on Charles Sanford. Are my eyes deceiving me, or is Dylan Poteet up to 12th? Poteet started this race from dead last. That's why I'm shocked. He started 42nd on the field, and in the span of 20 laps, nearing halfway, he has made his way more than halfway through the field. And he's about to maybe break into the top 10. Great run here today. Out of the multi-time winner from 1 season ago, was in the Final Four to compete for the championship. Came into this race 32nd in points. He's kind of in that same category as McCrory and Shelton that we talked about at the top of the race, pre-race, in terms of really needs a victory here to maybe be able to have a shot of another victory to get into a playoff spot. But for Matt McIntyre, lap times are looking good. That last time by, he was 0.3 of a second faster than McCrory. This time by, 1:17.2 to Anthony's 1:17.6, so another 0.4 of a second faster. It doesn't look visibly like he's pulling away by a lot, but even 1/10 of a second at a road course can be huge. As long as your lap times are faster than the car behind you, they will not be able to get up there and challenge you. Impressive day for Eric Monaco, the former Light Series champion. We talked about the fact that there are 4 full-time rookies in this series, and 2 of them have now found victory lane. Summer Henson last week at Homestead, Eric Sadler, the first one all the way back at North Wilkesboro. But a thing that we don't really talk a whole lot about, and we really should, is the rookie points battle. With that victory last week, Summer Henson now is tied with Eric Monaco for the rookie points lead, 187 points each. Eric Sadler now finds himself 9 points back in third. Daniel Bouchard 11 points back in fourth. So Henson and Monaco gridlocked for the rookie points lead in that Rookie of the Year battle. Right now, Monaco up inside the top 10 in 6th. Summer Henson is currently back in the 31st position. Something I've been keeping track on is those drivers that are off sequence from everybody else. Now, on my calculations, everybody is going to have to pit again. Even those drivers that did the off sequence, they're under that caution period. However, using the 84 of Cody Lamas as a guinea pig, he's the one I've been keeping an eye on because he's been really the front runner of those that are off sequence. Cody was outside of the top 30 when they did that strategy. Look where he is now, 23rd, and he's closing in on more drivers. He's up in the pack now. So I'm almost wondering if it was a strategy call of getting fresh tires for the longer run, and it's actually working. Now, the thing that we are going to have to keep an eye on here towards the end of this race is Cody did give up a spot inside of the top 10 to come to pit road with this unorthodox strategy. If they don't finish up inside of the top 10, then it's a net loss. But we've still got 19 laps to go here as Matt McIntyre hits the stripe. There's still a lot of racing still left to be done. And of course, as well, if a caution comes out here, that throws a spanner into the works, and everybody then, I think, would be able to be on the same pit sequence. Though if caution came out right now, I don't think anybody, no, they would not be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. We would have to get to a target lap of 3 laps from now, 3 to 4 laps from now, to comfortably be able to make it the rest of the way on one more pit stop. Joshua Osborne, he's on the move. As now he'll make his way by Anthony McCrory. So will Michael Norman, as Anthony had to give way there and lost a ton of momentum through the chicane. He'll drift back to 4th. Osborne will now move to 2nd, and he'll set his sights on Matt McIntyre for the race lead. Sanford completing the pass through the carousel on Eric Monaco, moves up into the top 5. Bryce Egan. I was using Cody Lamas as a benchmark, but Bryce Egan, remember, he came to pit road under the caution. And I'm just making a differential here, too. There were drivers that came to pit road under the caution when pit road was open. There were drivers that came to pit road at the drop of the green flag. Egan came to pit road when pit road was open under that yellow flag, and he's now up here in the top 10. Now looking for 9th on Caleb Fogler. So while a lot of that strategy seemed very confusing to me, it is kind of working out for some drivers. As now Michael Norman holds off Anthony McCrory. Anthony was trying to get that 3rd spot back, and now he's under fire from Charles Sanford and Jack Mitchell. The thing here for Anthony McCrory is I don't think his car is bad now. It was very good at the first run. I think the problem was Anthony's car was so good, they didn't make any adjustments on his machine. Everybody else made adjustments and were able to make themselves equal, if not better, than the 61. As he is continuing to free fall right now, and this battle for the lead is heating up. Joshua Osborne may have the fastest car on the track right now because he was able to put Anthony away quickly. He was able to get by Michael Norman fast, and now he is pulled right up to the back bumper of the Pepsi Ford Mustang. Oh, but he's coming to pit road! Right when he catches Matt McIntyre, he's pitting. And this, if my calculations are correct, is too soon. This is way too soon for the 27 team. We'll have to keep an eye on that here in the closing stages, but I think that they are outside the window. I don't think the 27 is going to be able to make it the rest of the way, unless he saves. Well, that gives Matt McIntyre a reprieve. His teammate Michael Norman slots to second, Sanford to third, and Jack Mitchell just made the pass on Anthony McCurry for fourth place. Anthony still under fire. I think you're going to see Anthony on pit road here in the next lap or two. Either those tires have gone away or they need to make an adjustment on that Celsius Mazda, because look how they're all just stacked up behind him. He's holding these guys up. There's a lot of drivers that are faster than him that he's holding up right now. I think, I think you could maybe pit right now to make it the rest of the way, but I want that extra insurance lap. I'm staying out until at least the completion of lap 26, maybe the completion of lap 27, if my fuel will allow me to. Nobody up here of your top 5 are pitting. Anybody back here look like they're indicating pit road? No. Nope, they're all going to stay out a little bit longer, which I agree with this. I think you want to get to lap 27, maybe 28. To make absolutely certain you're going to get to the conclusion. As teammates will now battle for the race lead. A couple of drivers both looking for their first wins on the season. Norman is 22nd in points. Matt, one position better, 21st in the overall standings. Both with a victory would put themselves into the wild card conversation as they are ahead of drivers like Nathan Ormond and Daniel Voiles, who both came into this race in the 5th and 6th wildcard spots, respectively. Double checking on the 27 of Joshua Osborne. And scoring's actually saying that this is only Osborne's second trip to pit road. So he would have been one of the drivers that did not come to pit lane early, either under the pit lane being open under caution or coming to the green flag. So that makes things a little even more interesting for me in the fact he pitted as early as he did. Could it have been the case, as I was talking about, where the fuel window, the initial fuel window that we had, may have shrunk a little bit from 15 to 16 down to maybe 12, 13, 13, 14, something like that. I don't know. Mitchell just got by Charles Sanford, moves up to third. I think we are now in the window where everybody could pit from here on out and make it to the conclusion. But again, could depend on whether you get the car full of fuel. We had a driver yesterday in the lights race that had to pit late. They didn't get the car full of fuel and he ended up losing out on a decent run. I'm trying to recollect who that driver was. It's not coming to me. As Mitchell's on the move, he's going to get by Michael Norman there through the bus stop chicane. He'll move to second. Jack looking for his second win on the season. Be the first time in his career that he'd had a multi-win season, as throws a defensive block there on Michael Norman. Going into 6. Matt's coming in. Charles Sanford as well. Mitchell will stay out. Has Jack led a lap yet today? No, he is not. So this would be a bonus point for the 0-1. Who else is coming in? Bryce Egan's coming in the 9. Anthony's coming in. That's not a surprise. I fully expected him to be one of the first ones on pit road as well. So a number of front runners coming in. Mitchell leads that lap. Michael Norman putting the pressure on him. This is the money stop. This is potentially the stop to get you to the finish. And now it's the question of, do you come to pit road now, take advantage of your outlap on fresh tires to gain track position, or do you wait until the very last minute to come to pit road and have fresher tires maybe for the long run? We've seen a couple of drivers have some good long run pace here between the last green flag pit stop and the upcoming cycle. Osborne had a fast long run car. Matt McIntyre did. Jack Mitchell, obviously, we've seen has been able to work his way forward. Benjamin Miles and Matt Haas both look like they've got good long run cars. Dylan Poteet as well. I mean, Poteet just got by Matt Haas. That'd be for 5th, which translating around, I think would put him up inside of the top 10 after the cycle is complete. As here comes Mitchell, here comes Norman. I think we're going to see most everybody come down pit road here. Does anybody go a little further? Yes, Cody Lamas is going to go further. So this is really interesting. Cody's team is all over the spectrum. They came to pit road at the 1 to green, short pitted everybody the first time. Now they're going to stay out a little bit longer this time. And more importantly, that's going to get Cody a bonus point. Cody's been able to gain some great track position. He's going to have fresher tires here on this final run. Carson Gum back there as well. I think Carson's been able to start working his way up into the top 15. Keep an eye on these drivers. I didn't like the strategy call further back, but it might actually work out. We're going to have to see between Joshua Osborne, Matt McIntyre, Jack Mitchell, and Michael Norman who's going to eventually cycle out to the lead. This pit road is a difficult one, especially if you've got a pit stall towards the latter half, because it's downhill. So not only do you have to make sure you don't exceed pit road speed with that downhill incline, but also you got to make sure that that car actually comes to a stop. Some skid marks right there in turn 6. No caution, but somebody had a moment, it looks like, through that corner. Cody's coming in. Carson Gum's going to stay out, though. So will Summer Henson, Nick Gunther. Looks like Chung and Matthews are in this time. Bishop and Turner will stay out a little bit longer as well. Should be a bonus point lap led for Carson Gum. And indeed it is. Good battle there for second. Summer Henson, last week's winner, throws the block on Nick Gunther. Really expected to see more out of Nick Gunther here this week. Garage 55 looked really strong. You had Autumn Brooks qualify up towards the front, on the front row for the lights race, dominate that race for the victory. Anthony was strong here in Cup qualifying, got the pole. Autumn top 5. I really thought we were going to see Nick Gunther run a lot better this weekend, but he was at the tail end of the field almost the entirety of the lights race yesterday. And yeah, he's running in 3rd place right now, but it's only on pit road strategy that we're mentioning his name here. Don't forget, Nick comes into this race 9th in points. He is only 3 points ahead of 10th in the standings, and he's only 10 points ahead of 11th in the standings. So he needs a solid run here today. He doesn't have a victory yet this season, so he's currently relying on top 10 in points to get him into the playoffs. As Carson's coming in this time, so is Summers, so is Nick. Turner's coming in. Bishop's coming in. Autumn Brooks staying out an extra lap. Same for James Qualls. Oh, no, Autumn's going to stay out an extra lap. Qualls is going to pit this time. Where would the lead cycle around to? It would be Matt McIntyre. I'll tell you who really lost out in the pit stop cycle. Joshua Osborne. Look how far back he is. Wow. That team lost a lot of time on pit road, and I don't know exactly where it was at. But he's not going to cycle up to where he was at the start. Ooh, I think Benjamin Miles might have been wide there out of turn 7. He's going to lose some positions. As this right here would be the ongoing battle for what would eventually be second. Norman, Mitchell, and Sanford going on behind Matt McIntyre, who's currently scored in 6th. But we're still waiting for the 62 and the 39 to pit. Plus, there were some drivers that just came to pit road that crossed the line on pit lane before Matt McIntyre came around to the start-finish line. So Matt McIntyre will cycle back to the front when Autumn Brooks and Keith Batson eventually make the dive for pit road. Carson Gum actually led that last lap on pit lane, so his second lap led of the day. Autumn Brooks will more than likely here, I believe, yeah, she's got the 5th pit stall, so she'll lead her second lap on pit road, as I believe Batson's coming in as well. So this will cycle Matt McIntyre back to the point. He will probably be scored in at least 2nd, if not 3rd, on the monitor here for this lap. But he will then, the following lap, go to the top of the board. Now the question is, can everybody that's pit make it on fuel? I'm really worried about that 27 of Joshua Osborne, if I'm being perfectly honest. Let's see how this would all cycle out now. Matt McIntyre would be the leader. Michael Norman in 2nd. Jack Mitchell 3rd. Charles Sanford in 4th. Caleb Fogler would now be in 5th. 6th position, Dylan Poteet after starting shotgun on the field. 7th would be Matt Haas. Quentin Moore right now would be in 8th, trying to make his way back into the top 10 in points. Benjamin Miles in 9th, and Bryce Egan would complete the top 10. Joshua Osborne right now would be 11th, Cody Lamas in 12th, 13th for Eric Monaco, 14th for Jessica Shelton. Points leader Ryan Brommer would be 15th, 16th Cole Devers, 17th Daniel Voiles, Kyler Sestry in 18th, 19th Laura Chung, and Anthony McCurry, the pole sitter, has faded all the way back now to the 20th position. Dylan Young in 21st, 22nd is Daniel Bouchard. Carson Gum, 23rd. He's under fire from 24th place Nick Gunther. 25th to be Summer Henson. 26th, Destin Bolin. 27th, Reggie Fogelman. 28th, Levi McIntyre. Nathan Ormond back in 30th. 31st would be Zachary Fitzwater. 32nd, Kyle Matthews. 33rd, Eric Sadler. Remember, he came into this race 10th in points. 34th would be Jesse Turner. 35th, RJ Bishop. 36th, James Qualls. 37th would be Autumn Brooks. 38th right now is Benjamin Snyder. 39th, Keith Batson. 40th is Connor Breton. Actually, I think I might have miscounted there. 39th is Connor Breton. 40th is Alexander Rowe. He is the last car on the lead lap as battle is on for the lead. 2 laps down in 41st is Casey Hoyt, the only driver out of the race. Austin LaPlante, who will get credit for 42nd. Only 5 drivers on the same straight here out of the carousel and down towards turn 6. Another 5 drivers further back behind them. What you got is what you got now, and you got to hope and pray you've got enough fuel to get to the end. Matt McIntyre, Michael Norman, Caleb Fogler, and Charles Sanford up here in this top 5, all looking for their first win on the season. Jack Mitchell, the only former winner, looking for his second. As look at the run, Michael Norman's going to get down the front straightaway, makes the dive to the inside into turn 1. Can he complete the pass? Yes, he can! What a run, what a move. McIntyre goes from the lead back to 3rd. Mitchell will slot to 2nd now. Ford, Chevy, Ford, Ford, Chevy right now in your top 5. Fastest lap of the race laid down by the BP Ultimate Chevrolet of Jack Mitchell, a 1:15.271. That is about a full second faster than what the leaders are running right now. And Mitchell looking to driver's right, tried to stay on that right rear quarter panel through the carousel, get Michael a little tight. Michael trying to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. Mitchell trying to capitalize as Fogler goes wide out of 6. That'll lose him touch with Matt McIntyre and bring Charles Sanford to his left side for the 4th spot. This is a great battle. It's late in the race. Let's go on board with Jack Mitchell and watch him as he tries to outbrake and outmaneuver Michael Norman for this top spot. Traffic ahead for the leaders. That is the lap machine of Casey Hoyt, who could play a factor into the outcome of this race. Hoyt 2 laps down, off the pace. And we saw on the restart was a bit of a traffic jam for a lot of the drivers up inside of the top 10. Michael Norman, he's hoping to encounter this 24 at a good spot. This is not a good spot, entering right into the bus stop. Can he get by the 24 here going into the carousel? Mitchell gave a little bit of space there, maybe to see if he could generate a run if the 22 got held up too long. Third place battle going on behind them. Caleb Fogler on the back bumper of Matt McIntyre. Sanford has lost touch as he rides in 5th, and Dylan Pote trying to reel him in to get into the top 5. Oh boy. Norman try to get by. He'll look low. Going into 7. Pushes the 24 up. He'll complete the pass. Mitchell now looks to make quick work as well. He'll clear Will Mitchell. Top 2 get by the 24. And now it's back to mano a mano. Norman and Mitchell for the lead. Maybe the race win here at Watkins Glen. Here's the look into the S's. Showed the nose, couldn't do anything with it. He'll rebound, try again, Will Mitchell. Norman holds off that fight, at least for the time being. Let's drop back to 3rd place. Fogler putting the pressure on Matt McIntyre, as both of them now encounter the slower car of Casey Hoyt. At the stripe, it'll be 4 laps to go. Can they make it on fuel is the big question. I've been keeping an eye on the scoring, and the 27 of Joshua Osborne, he's the one I'm really concerned about being able to make it on fuel. Right now, 27 is scored in the 26th position. And that maybe says to me that he's lost track position trying to save to get to the end. Fogler's going to get to the left side, the outside of Casey Hoyt. Matt McIntyre not yet clear. And he will not be able to get around the 24 there off of turn 1. So that opens up the door for Fogler to pull away, maybe try and get up here into the conversation for this race victory. Caleb Fogler coming into this race 29th in points. He's above that 30th in the standings cut line. I don't know. He's like borderline in the same scenario as what we were talking about earlier on, like Shelton and McCrory, where he would need 2 victories. He could still get himself up there ahead of drivers like Daniel Voiles and Nathan Ormond. He would have to hope that other drivers up in the top 15, top 20 in points don't go to victory lane here, or at least that he can bypass them in these final upcoming 3 races. Don't count these drivers out. I don't know if they've got a shot for the win. I think they're too far back, but I think they definitely have a shot for a top 5. Dylan Poteet and Matt Haas both started this race outside of the top 30, and they are both in 6th and 7th place. They have done a tremendous job of working their way through the field during the course of this race. Poteet started shotgun on the field. He will undoubtedly, if we had a hard charger award, he would undoubtedly get that, as he has picked up a total of 36 spots in 39 laps. Battle for the lead is back on again. Mitchell shows the nose to the left side. Will he stay alongside here down the straight heading for the bus stop? Still showing, tucks back in line. What line do they both choose here going into the entrance of the chicane? Pretty similar entry, maybe a little better on exit there from Michael Norman. See, the problem right now for Jack Mitchell is Michael Norman being the lead car. He gets to choose the lane he wants in these respective corners. He's forcing Jack Mitchell to have to do something different. As now Matt McIntyre under fire for fourth. Charles Sanford going to try and swing around the outside here into turn 6. He'll have the inside line into 7, but I believe he's got the pass already completed. Move him up to P4. Sanford looking for his 4th top 5 on the season. I'm telling you, keep an eye on the 0-3 down the home stretch. Even if he doesn't win, I'm looking at the points. He could easily, in the next 3 races, not including today, if he does finish out this top 5, he could point his way up into the top 10 in the standings. Easy. 2 laps to go here at the Glen. Joshua Osborne did come to pit road. We've gotten confirmation he could not make it on fuel. I thought that pit stop was a little too early, and that's going to cost him a lot of track position. He dropped out of the top 10 in points last week, was 12th in the standings coming into this week, and he will lose even more ground to that 10th in the standings cut line now. Vogler! Where did he come from? Now for second place on Jack Mitchell. He may have the fastest car of the top 3 right now. Can he translate it to a win will be the question. Not yet clear on Mitchell. He'll have a better lane here through 6 and 7. He may actually, yeah, see Michael pull down there. He knew. He wanted to cover that. He didn't want Vogler to go for the 2-for-1 special. White flag gonna fly this time. Throw a blanket over the top 3. Mitchell looking for his 2nd win of the season. Norman and Vogler looking for their 1st. Still stacked up double wide for 2nd. Norman going to have to play some tremendous defense. Whoa, little loose there off of turn 1 was Vogler. But I think he's got the pass completed. Now it is blue oval versus blue oval with a Chevrolet waiting in the wings. Can Vogler close up the gap to him and Michael Norman? Mitchell's going to look for 2nd place once again. Vogler is really strong here in the second half of the course, going down to the chicane through the carousel. Can he use that to close up on Norman here for the win? Oh, all 3 really nice there through the exit of the bus stop. Now the carousel is going to be the deciding factor. Can Vogler get the run? He's closing. He's there. Does he take a look down here into 6? Norman's going to have to figure out which line he wants to run. Does he go defensive? Mitchell's going to look low on Vogler. That could be all she wrote. Norman covers the left, covers the right. About a car length now back to Vogler. Punches the throttle, turns for home. Michael Norman is going back to victory lane. First time in Season 8, he will win at the Glen. Vogler, I believe, sniped 2nd place. Mitchell will finish on the podium, but Michael Norman picks up his 1st win of the season. It's the 2nd win overall for the Michael Norman Motorsports organization, and Michael, who lost 6 spots in the standings last week at Homestead and dropped to 22nd, he may gain all those spots back, plus may have just now put himself in a wild card spot. Potentially we'll have to wait for the next 3 weeks to translate, but did Michael just win his way into the postseason? We're waiting for drivers to cross the line here still. No, Mitchell got 2nd. We are being told Mitchell did get 2nd, Vogler in 3rd, but podium finishes nonetheless for both of them. And Michael Norman, who coming into this race only had 3 prior top 5 finishes, nets his 4th, a big victory. And as we said, we'll have to wait and see if this now puts him into the hunt for the playoffs, for the championship. Michael led the last 8 laps of this race, started this race from 27th. So we had a lot of drivers here today that worked their way through the field. Mitchell, who got 2nd, started 19th. Vogler, who finished in 3rd, where did he start this race? Not even in the top 28. I don't even see him on the top 28. He was outside of the top 28. Man, a lot of drivers had some good long run speed here. Charles Sanford, who finished in 4th, he started 15th. Matt McIntyre was the only driver that finished up in the top 5 that started in the top 5. He started 4th and finished 5th, as I believe everyone has crossed the line now and the standing should be official. Yes, they are. Dylan Poteet, that is the drive of the race right there, though. Started shotgun on the field and almost netted a top 5. He'll finish in 6th. Great run for him. Quentin Moore, did he make his way back up into the top 10 in the standings, as he was 7 points outside of the cut line, finished 7th. The driver he was chasing, Eric Sadler, 10th in the standings, was 25th in the finishing results. So I think Quentin Moore may have raced his way back up into the top 10. Matt Haas, great run for him. He was battling with Connor Breton. They were 23rd and 25th in points for who was going to be that number 1 wildcard seed, and with a top 10 run, he may have just taken that. Jessica Shelton started on the outside of the front row and was able to finish in 9th. Great run for her, but again, I think she still needs a couple of victories here in these final 3 races. Eric Monaco, solid run for him. I believe he's going to get Rookie of the Race. Yes, he is, as he will net the 10th position. Benjamin Miles brings it home in 11th. Cole Deaver in 12th. Good run for Daniel Voiles. Well-needed run, a driver that was trying to stay ahead of that 30th and standing cut line. He should have a bit of a buffer now as he gets a top 15. Bryce Egan, we saw that unorthodox strategy. It got him a top 15 finish in 14th, and Kyler Sustre will finish out the top 15. Ryan Brommer, we didn't talk about the new points leader hardly at all today. I believe he's still going to keep the points lead, as he did outperform both Levi McIntyre and James Qualls, but he'll finish out the day 16th. Nick Gunther in 17th. Laura Chung in 18th. Summer Henson in the 19th position. So all 3 of the Auto Junction racing cars all close together there. And Carson Gum is going to finish this race in the 20th position. Some other notables there, Carson and Cody Lamas, they were on that unorthodox strategy. They both finished 23rd and 20th and 23rd. Anthony McCurry started on the pole, led the most laps today at 12 circuits out in front. That car fell off the second half of this race, 27th for him. RJ Bishop, we saw him try an unorthodox strategy. That didn't pan out. Levi McIntyre, I don't think we talked about hardly at all today. 31st for him, 1 week removed from losing the points lead. Qualls, who came in 3rd in points, poor showing today in 34th place. You look further on down there, we mentioned about Joshua Osborne couldn't make it on fuel, so that gamble did not pay off. Dustin Bolin, 4-time winner. We didn't talk about him at all this race. He finished in 39th. Casey Hoyt, multiple laps down, in 41st. And Austin LaPlante was the only driver that did not reach the conclusion today. The struggling season continues for that 48 team that's still searching for that first top 5, as he will finish dead last in the 42nd spot. I don't think much is going to change as far as positioning up at the top of the point standings, but around that 10th position, I think there are going to be a lot of changes there. Monaco's going to move up. Osborne's going to drop. Moore's going to move up. Sadler's going to drop. Gunther may hold court there around the 9th, 8th, 9th position. Mitchell's obviously going to move up in the top 10. Boland's going to drop. So, you know, that's going to really be interesting if he falls out of the top 10. He's obviously going to be in a wild card spot with 4 wins. What does that do now in terms of drivers like Voiles and Ormond, maybe even Michael Norman now with this victory, as far as who's going to be in a wild card position going into next week? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. But congratulations to Michael Norman, his first win of Season 8, and it takes place here at the road course of Watkins Glen. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We have shown you your full finish results, and you're now looking at the point standings as a result of today's finishes. Next week, it's another doubleheader with the Lights and the Cup drivers, as we are at the miniaturized Pocono, if you will, triangular speedway known as Hanford. First time that the Lights drivers will take to that racetrack. Second time for the Cup Series drivers, as that track made its debut last season. Then the following week, it's just the Cup drivers at Bristol Dirt before we wrap this regular season up with our final doubleheader at Auto Club Speedway for the Lights and the Cup Series drivers to determine their respective playoff fields. But once again, thanks everybody for tuning in to today's race. We will see you guys next week at Hanford, as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.